They say football always finds its next great rivalry. Legends fade, heroes rise, and somewhere in between, the game writes a new story. But every so often, three names converge, not by coincidence, but by fate. Haaland, Mbappé, Kane. Three strikers, three nations, three definitions of power. They don't just score goals, they change the rhythm of matches. When they clash, the world doesn't just watch the game, it watches history trying to repeat itself. Their goals don't only decide scorelines, they shape eras, define legacies, and remind us why football remains the world's greatest drama. This isn't a highlight reel. It's not a collection of stats or viral moments. It's a story of obsession, evolution, and supremacy. A story about three men who wake up every morning knowing there's no room for second place. Each of them carries the weight of nations, the burden of expectations, and the fire of competition that refuses to die. We'll follow them through dominance and doubt, through the glory and the grind. We'll trace their journeys, their rises, their struggles, and their moments of magic. And we'll ask, when the dust settles, who will be the striker whose name echoes through football's future? Because in this battle, there is no draw. Only one can stand above the rest. This is their war, and we're about to enter it. Every great striker starts with a moment, not a goal, but a realization. The moment they understand that football isn't just a game, it's survival. For Erling Haaland, that moment came early. In the cold of Brine, Norway, the floodlights dim, the air thin, he was already obsessed with scoring. His father, a professional himself, taught him discipline, but Erling turned it into obsession. He wasn't the loudest kid, he was the hungriest. While others trained to get better, he trained to become inevitable. His body grew stronger, his stride longer, his finishing colder. Even then, you could sense it. He didn't just want to play football, he wanted to rule it. Across the water in Bondy, France, a young Kylian Mbappé was creating chaos on playgrounds that barely had nets. Born into a sporting family, he was raised on competition and conviction. He didn't just run fast, he thought fast. While other kids played for fun, Mbappé played with purpose. Coaches said he saw the game in slow motion. Defenders said they only saw a blur. Paris called him their prodigy, but he always looked beyond. He was chasing something bigger than France. And in London, a quieter story was unfolding. Harry Kane didn't have the lightning pace or the explosive headlines. He had doubt. Critics said he wasn't quick enough, not flashy enough, maybe not good enough. But where others saw limitations, Kane saw the long road. Loan spells, cold nights, lower league battles. That was his education. Every rejection became fuel. Every goal was a promise that one day, the world would have to take him seriously. 3 different beginnings, 3 different battles, yet all fueled by the same relentless instinct: to score, to conquer, to leave no doubt. Haaland learned to destroy, Mbappé learned to dazzle, Kane learned to endure. And somewhere deep inside, each of them understood the same truth. Football only remembers the finishers. Every generation has a moment when the new kings arrive, and this was theirs. Erling Haaland came crashing into football like a meteor. His rise wasn't graceful, it was violent. From Salzburg to Dortmund, and then to Manchester City, every stop along the way felt like an awakening. He didn't just score goals, he devoured them. Records weren't things to chase. They were obstacles to tear down. They said he was too raw.
In terms of front of goal, he's best in the world. But for his general play, for such a player, it is so poor. Not just today, I think he has to improve that. He's almost like a League Two player.
In England, they said he'd need time. But time is a luxury Haaland doesn't believe in. He arrived, he conquered, and before anyone could adjust, he'd already changed what a striker was supposed to be. Kylian Mbappe's ascent was different. Smoother, theatrical, magnetic. From the moment he burst through at Monaco, football couldn't look away. His pace was terrifying, but his composure was worse, because it came from a teenager who played like he'd seen it all before. Then came Russia, 2018, the World Cup that turned a prodigy into a phenomenon. The world watched a 19-year-old glide through Argentina's defense like wind, and when France lifted the trophy, a new face of football had been crowned. But Mbappé wasn't satisfied with glory. He wanted immortality. Harry Kane's rise, meanwhile, was slower, quieter, and built entirely on grit. No viral breakthrough, no overnight fame, just seasons of relentless scoring and unwavering belief. Year after year, he turned doubt into data, criticism into consistency. He didn't explode. He evolved. When others relied on flair, he relied on precision. When others sprinted, he stayed still, waiting for that single perfect moment that makes all the difference. By the time 2025 arrived, the world didn't just watch Haaland, Mbappé, and Kane. It feared them. They had become the three faces of inevitability. Different paths, same purpose. Haaland, the executioner; Mbappé, the entertainer; Kane, the engineer. They weren't chasing the same trophies. They were chasing the same throne. And now, football had its new question. Not who scores the most, but who will define this era. Right now, football is living through a golden chaos. A time when three strikers are rewriting what greatness looks like. Erling Haaland, Kylian Mbappé, Harry Kane. They aren't names from the past. They're names echoing through every stadium, every highlight, every conversation. This is not history. This is happening now. Haaland is the storm of the modern game. Every time he steps on the pitch, defenders tense up, goalkeepers lose sleep, and records start shaking. There's no hesitation in his movement, just a ruthless rhythm. One touch, one chance, one strike, one goal. It's not luck, it's design. He doesn't play football like it's art. He plays it like war, cold, fast, and unforgiving. And every match he plays, it feels like he's not competing with others. He's competing with time itself. Mbappé, on the other hand, is pure theater. Every sprint, every feint, every finish is a headline waiting to be written. At Real Madrid under Xabi Alonso, he looks freer than ever. Sharper, hungrier, and more dangerous than he's ever been. The way he glides past defenders, the way he pauses for just half a second before releasing a strike. It's not speed, it's control disguised as chaos. He doesn't chase moments, he creates them. And every time he scores, it feels less like celebration, more like confirmation. This is his era, and he's living it. Then there's Harry Kane, the calm assassin in a world of storms. While others chase headlines, he chases perfection. In Munich, he's not just scoring, he's conducting. Every pass, every finish, every decision feels deliberate. He doesn't rely on pace or power, he relies on mastery. When Haaland and Mbappé bring fire, Kane brings silence. The kind of silence that follows a perfect finish, when the stadium just stops to admire the precision. They're not chasing records, they're setting them. They're not waiting for the next Ballon d'Or, they're defining who deserves it. Every weekend, it feels like the story shifts. Haaland hits a brace, Mbappé answers with a hat trick, Kane adds another masterpiece. It's not rivalry out of hatred, it's rivalry out of respect.
I have to ask you, I mean, obviously you've scored a dozen goals now this season. I'm wondering where I need to put my money, Harry Kane or Erling Haaland for the European Golden Boot. Could be a few others involved, but you're both off to a good start.
Don't forget Kylian as well. He had a great start as well. So they're doing amazing. So I need to try to keep up.
They don't speak much about each other, but their boots are having the conversation for them. And in every match, every roar, every flash of brilliance, football fans everywhere are witnessing something rare. Three strikers in their prime, all fighting for one thing. Not fame, not applause, but the right to be remembered as the striker of this era. Because this isn't history, it's happening now, and we're lucky enough to be watching it live. The 2025 season isn't just another chapter in their careers. It's the stage where everything they've worked for comes to life. Every match day feels like a new episode in a drama the whole world is watching. The lights come on, the cameras roll, and once again it's Haaland, Mbappé, and Kane stealing the spotlight. Erling Haaland is playing football like he's on fast forward. His movement has become even sharper, his finishes colder, his presence heavier. Opponents prepare for him all week and still can't stop what's coming. Under Pep Guardiola, he's added patience to his power, learning when to wait, when to strike, when to vanish, and reappear right where defenders don't expect him. He doesn't need many touches. He only needs one. Every time he scores, it feels like the game bows its head for a second and admits, there's nothing we can do about this man. Kylian Mbappé, though, is the story that defines this season. At Real Madrid, under Xabi Alonso, he looks unstoppable, sharper, hungrier, and more complete than ever before. There's a fire in his play now, a maturity that blends flair with focus. He no longer plays to prove a point, he plays to set the standard. Every sprint feels intentional, every goal feels inevitable. He doesn't just want to dominate games, he wants to dominate eras. And then there's Harry Kane, the quiet genius whose game keeps aging like fine wine. In Munich, he isn't chasing the chaos of modern football. He's controlling it. Every pass has purpose, every finish looks simple because he makes it that way. He doesn't sprint past defenders, he makes them disappear through timing. While Haaland storms and Mbappé shines, Kane dissects. His goals don't scream, they hum, like a symphony played perfectly in tune. And it's that calm that makes him so dangerous. 3 strikers, 3 styles, 1 mission. To define this era before it defines them. The season isn't over, but already the numbers are unreal. Haaland keeps chasing the single-season scoring record. Mbappé is fighting to be the face of Madrid's next dynasty. Kane is rewriting what it means to be consistent at the top level. Every weekend, one of them takes the spotlight. Every week, the question grows louder. Who will end this season standing tallest? Because right now, football isn't just watching their journey, it's living it with them. Football isn't waiting for these men to retire before calling them legends. It's already happening. Every weekend, every goal, every roar from the crowd feels like another line added to their legacy. Haaland, Mbappé, and Kane aren't just strikers anymore. They're symbols of an era that refuses to slow down. Erling Haaland is the face of pure inevitability. He plays as if goals are not earned but owed. There's no hesitation, no doubt, no weakness. Every record that once seemed untouchable is now trembling in his shadow. He's not chasing approval, he's chasing history itself. When you watch him, you can feel the future, a version of football where power and precision rule over everything. Kylian Mbappé, though, is something different. He's not just a finisher, he's a performer, an ambassador of confidence. Every touch reminds the world that football is still about beauty, expression, and audacity. At just 26, he's already carried nations, lifted trophies, and become the standard of what every young player dreams to be. But what makes Mbappé truly special is that he's not done. He's still rewriting his story with every step, every strike, every stare into the camera that says, "You're witnessing history in real time." Harry Kane stands as the pillar of craft and consistency. He doesn't chase attention, he earns respect. In a world obsessed with speed, he proves that intelligence can still dominate. His movement, his timing, his vision, they're reminders that true greatness doesn't need noise. When Kane plays, the game slows down just enough for us to see what perfection looks like. And every goal he scores feels like the punctuation mark of a player who's mastered the art of control. Together, they've changed the landscape of modern football. 3 different paths, one shared purpose, to become unforgettable. They are the reason defenders don't sleep easily, the reason fans stay glued to every match, the reason the sport feels alive again. And as this golden era unfolds, the question isn't who's better, it's who will last longer. Because the truth is, this battle isn't ending anytime soon. It's still unfolding, week after week, goal after goal. And when the next generation comes, they'll look back at this time and say, that was the era of giants. The battle continues, the fire still burns, and the legacy of Haaland, Mbappé, and Kane is still being written.